What's poppin', guys? It's your boy Steven here, coach of the Hartford Wailmers, and today we got something special. We got our APA Academy draft analysis. I say draft analysis, but there's going to be 3 because we're following the APA main leagues format where there's one draft you play weeks 1, 2, 3, 4. Another draft you play weeks 2, 4, 5, or 5, 6, 7, 8, and then a third draft where you play weeks 9, 10, 11, 12. And then you make a team of all 3 drafts. It still has to fit tiers and everything, but then you can use the team you create of all 3 drafts for playoffs. It's a really cool format. Real quick, I want to shout outs to my boy Panther, my boy Curt. Curt sauced me the invite. I'm sure Panther gave him the go ahead, and I'm really thankful for the opportunity to be in this and get to hopefully show off that I'm pretty good and can hang with some of these guys, but we'll have to see. So let's get into the draft. First pick, I had, I think, a middle of the pack pick, maybe. I wanted to use something I never used before because everything I was looking at, and I was like, nothing's jumping off. So I asked Panther for a recommendation. I was like, hey, here's a couple things I've never used. Go ahead, recommend one. I'll pick it. I'll draft around it. And it led me to my first pick, which ended up being Mega Diancie. Now, I watched a ton of replays. I've done my research. I kind of hope I know how to use this thing right. It's a crazy, crazy strong Pokemon. It's got a good defensive type as well. It's got base 110 speed, so it's a really good speed tier, and its offenses are crazy. 160 each, I believe. As long as it's still got 110 in both defenses. It's got a low base HP stat, but it's okay. This mon breaks so many walls. There's so little mons that can switch into Rock, Fairy, plus its excellent gift of coverage Earth Power. It also gets things like Calm Mind, Rock Polish, Psychic, Sub, Stealth Rocks. Like, it's a crazy cool mon, and I hope we can do a ton of work with it in this upcoming season. Next pick, I wanted to pair it with something that could get it in a lot. Zapdos fit the bill, and it kind of covered some of Diancie's weaknesses too, mainly the Steel one. The Steel one was a big one. The Ground one was another big one. Zapdos is weak to Ice. Ice types can't switch into Rock. Zapdos is weak to... what else is weak to? Rock, I believe. They both don't resist Rock, but it's okay. We'll shore that up in the future here. Third pick, I should not have picked this early. I didn't realize what a low priority people put on this mon, but I kind of thought it was good with what I had so far, and I wanted like a reliable stealth rocker. I didn't want to bring rocks on Diancie every week, so I needed something else to set rocks. So I sang them Necrozma. Now, this draft is free Z moves, so Necrozma is infinitely more worthwhile because it can be Z moves, and I don't have to set it as a Z move. I can just bring whatever Z move I want on any Pokemon I want any week. Necrozma gets Stealth Rocks. Necrozma gets all kinds of setup. It gets Calm Mind. It gets Swords Dance. It gets Autotomize. It gets really good coverage as well. Then it gets that move, Photon Geyser. Photon Geyser is basically Psychic type Earthquake. It's 100-100, and if you're a physical Necrozma, it uses your physical attack stat if that's higher than your special attack stat. So you just slap Photon Geyser on whatever set. It does a ton of damage, even on bulky sets, because you have base 130 special attack. This thing I like a little more than I think most people do. Most people kind of just write it off. But I like this mon. I hope we get to show off a little more offense with it as well, as opposed to the bulky stuff. But not a big deal. Next up, we have Suicune. Now, Suicune is an amazing. I love Suicune. I love Suicune so much. Suicune is probably my favorite water type to use in the game. It's really strong with its pressure ability. Like, it's really good at stalling everything out. But it can also go on the offensive with, like, Calm Mind. You set up, like, 1-2 Calm Minds, and Suicune is suddenly hitting really hard, and you don't have switch-ins to it. I'll probably use it more bulky than often, but that's just what it is. Suicune's really good. I like it as well with the Roar phasing, so you can't really set up on it too easily. Next up, we drafted Nidoking. I really wanted Scolipede as my poison type. I also wanted to be able to pass speed into Necrozma was what I really wanted. And then I was going to try and draft a couple Mons around Scolipede that could get passed into it. Scolipede got taken. I probably should have flip-flopped Necrozma and Scolipede. I could have got both of them. But after Scolipede got taken, I took Suicune, and I hoped Nidoking would make it back. The pick before me ended up being Nidoqueen, so it almost didn't make it back to me. I feel like once one goes, people realize they're there and take the other one. Basically, that's exactly what happened, but as soon as one went, I was in the position to take the other one. So I'm glad we got the scoop of Nidoking. Nidoking's a crazy wall breaker. It also gets Stealth Rocks, and Stealth Rocks actually pretty reliably when it forces all these switches with the stupid amounts of damage it does. And the coverage, don't even get me started, it's insane. It also gets T-Spikes as well, which is another reason I wanted Scolipede, was for Spikes / T-Spikes. Our next pick was Chestnut. So I had Rocks, I had T-Spikes, I wanted Spikes. I also needed a Grass type and a Fighting type at the time. And my Flying type weakness was not there yet, because we had Zapdos and Diancie. I really wasn't weak to Fire either, because with Diancie and Suicune. Ice, I was looking a little bit Ice weak, but it's okay. Well, we patched that up later in the draft. I picked up Chestnut. I've never used Chestnut before. It's a really good physical wall, but I know you can do like Belly Drum shenanigans. Even like Sub-Salic is fine. Shout outs to my boy Jacob. But I think it kind of fits the bill of what I was trying to do. I've never used it before again, so I mean, it might not work out. Might work out wonders. Who knows? Next up, I think, yeah, I pick Incineroar. I wanted to finish off my Fire, Water, Grass. I also needed a Dark type. Incineroar is also a Dark type that gets Knockoff. It doesn't get Pursuit, which I do value a little bit, so that's kind of unfortunate. But it gets U-Turn and Intimidate. I think U-Turn and Intimidate definitely make up for no Pursuit, which is okay. It's really bulky as well, especially with Intimidate, and it's an Ice Resist for Chestnut. Intimidate is going to help with those Flying types for Chestnut. It's only weak to, I think, like a couple things like Ground, Fighting, Water. I think that might be it. Not too sure. I think that might be it because I know Fire is his bug. But we do have, like, our Mons kind of really work together well so far. I'm really happy with this draft, top to bottom, even as we get into more of these picks. Next up, I have Blissey. I wanted a normal type, and I had a tier 2 pick left. And how the draft kind of shaped up, nothing in tier 2 really fit the bill of what I wanted. I almost went Breloom over Chestnut, but I like Chestnut's defenses more. So I picked up Blissey as just like a shout out. Actually, let me put this out there. Blissey is really good in League format, I think. It's not as easy to set up on as Chansey. You can also get leftovers, so it's a little, you know, you're not as weak to knock off. You don't just lose all your bulk if you get knocked off. Your wishes are even fatter, and your special attack stat is respectable, meaning Calm Mind can be a thing, meaning Ghosts can't come in freely because I have to run Seismic Toss every week. I can take a Shadow Ball on there and, you know, help deal with Ghosts. I also have a couple of good fighting switch-ins already. Chestnut is a pretty okay fighting switch-in. Zapdos resist fighting and Necrozma resist fighting. So I'm not this too, like, handicapped as far as dealing with fighting types goes. My next pick, I ended up grabbing Noivern. I needed a dragon. Noivern is really fast. It's very fast. I needed a speed tier above Diancie. It's a second flying type, but it's not that big of a deal. It's a dragon type. It hits hard with like Specs, so Life Orb it does. I can also, again, free Z makes Noivern a little better than normal because like Z Draco, Z Hurricane, Z Fire Blast, like stuff like that. It also gets U-Turn, which is really, really nice. It's a defogger. Technically it's a defogger. You lose 25% to rocks to come into defog, but it is defogger. Next up, we got Cryogonal. Cryogonal is underrated, I think. I think it's pretty good. It's got a really high special defense stat. It's weak to fighting, steel, rock, but it gets Rapid Spin and Defog, and it's a 105 speed tier, so it's in between Zapdos and Diancie. I also like Cryogonal because there's really no ice types that like hurt Cryogonal too bad. Even like Mamoswine needs to tech like a move to hit it because of Levitate, so you know. Then any special attacking ice type, you can forget about it. Cryogonal special defense is through the roof. It also hits pretty hard, and it gets Freeze Dry, which is really helpful for water types. And my last pick was Togedemaru. The one thing I wish I could have done better this draft was take a Steel type. We got Togedemaru instead. Technically, it's a Steel type, but Togedemaru, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how many times Togedemaru is gonna come, but Togedemaru gets U-turn. So if it gets U-turn, it's good. That's my philosophy. If a Mon can U-turn, it can't be that bad. So Togedemaru is our Steel type. It's a second electric type, but it doesn't share weaknesses with Zapdos. It actually resists both of what Zapdos is weak to, and Zapdos resists the ground that Togedemaru is 4 times weak to. So, hey, the Zapdos Togedemaru core is too good. Too good. So that's going to be our draft for weeks 1 through 4. Keep in mind, having these Pokemon mean that I can take them back on my final draft for playoffs. So any of these Mons could come back. So I think a big strategy that a lot of people are going to want to shoot for is take completely different Mons. Don't draft the same thing in any of your drafts. So when you get to playoffs, you have a full list of different Mons. Like if I took Zapdos again, well then I could add a different tier 1 to take in playoffs, but instead I took Zapdos twice, so it kind of, you know what I'm saying? So I hope that we can do well here. I really hope that we can show that, you know, we got the stuff to compete, to contend. Uploads go up, I believe, on Sunday every week. So this will go up on Monday, the 18th. And then every Sunday, I believe, after that will be the games. So I look forward to seeing you guys back here for the next time. And let's go Wailmers, baby.